Hey guys, how is everyone? So, my name is Frank Goodlow, and I am the Performance and Visual Arts Director at the J and Center Stage. So, welcome to the first episode of Behind the Scenes in the Spotlight, Getting to Know You. And I am so excited to start this little adventure, this little interview show for everyone to get to know the amazing, talented people that are in our community: directors, actors, singers, dancers, performers. And I'm so excited to have as my first guest the incomparable and amazingly talented artistic and producing director of Pandora Productions, Michael Drury. How are you, Michael?
I'm great. Gosh, you make me blush. That introduction was so fabulous.
Well, you're fabulous. I mean, come on, it's got to be that amazing.
And
So,
I'm the
Michael,
first one.
yes, you're the first one. You're my
Oh
first
my
guest.
gosh. No pressure.
No pressure at all now. No pressure, baby. Make it good. But I know you are so amazing. That's why I wanted you to be my very first guest.
Oh,
Yes, definitely had to make that happen. So, Michael, I know that I've known you for
100 years.
100, at least 100.
At least 100. Maybe
Telling age
110.
now, but we feel good for 100,
That we
right?
do. Mhm.
But I've known you forever, for a long time, like back at Iroquois Amphitheater, where we
Yes.
did a playhouse, Pandora,
Yes.
of course, and of course Center Stage.
Mhm.
So it's like you said, it's been a long time. But a lot of people probably don't know. Like, how long have you been performing?
Since I was in the seventh grade.
Seventh grade.
Yeah.
Seventh
That's when
grade.
I got the bug.
You got the bug then. And that was my next question. Like, how old you were and what was it that inspired you? What was it that's like, this is for me. This is what I want to do.
Actually, I take that back. The first time I actually performed was in the seventh grade. The first time I got the bug was probably in the fourth grade. I
Hmm.
was in a class with my neighbor, Sally, who was my girlfriend at the time.
Yes,
Uh, yes.
I love it.
And we were given an art project to draw what we wanted to do with our lives or the occupation we wanted or something like that. And I think I said architect, but Sally wanted to be an actress and she drew this fabulous picture of being an actress. And I thought, no, that's what I want to be. I want to be an actress.
That is for me. I want to do it.
I want to do it. Plus, it was probably a good thing that I did sort of change my mind because I'm not terribly good at math
Uh-huh.
or science.
Uh-huh.
So being an architect probably would not be a very good occupation for me. I married one instead.
If you were the architect, houses would be all.
Right?
I
They'd be all
love
Salvador Dali like.
it. Salvador Dali. Oh, that's hilarious. But like as we say, like you got the bug when you were in fourth grade, and your first
Yes.
performance was in seventh,
Seventh grade, yes.
seventh grade.
In a
So
play called Puppy Love.
puppy love.
Yes.
Are you?
I'm not kidding.
Do you remember what that show was about?
No, I have no idea.
Puppy love, and they called it puppy
Puppy
love.
love.
That is great. So, like I mentioned that you had performed, that I met you, like at Iroquois Amphitheater with Music Theater of Louisville, Derby
Yes.
Dinner, of course, with Pandora and Center Stage. But like, what other companies have you been with? Where have you performed? Tell us a
Mm.
little bit about that.
Well, I've performed all over the place. I tried to make a living as an actor for a while. That lifestyle was not for me, but I performed all over the region in the Southeast and all the way down to Florida, all the way up to Michigan and this area.
Uh-huh.
But mostly local. Once I sort of decided that traveling life was not for me, I really tried to put down some roots and perform here as much as possible.
Yeah,
And have been very lucky and fortunate to be able to do that.
to be able to do that in all the
Yeah.
different places that you have.
Because I always knew that, well, I didn't always know, but I suspected that a New York kind of lifestyle or Chicago lifestyle wasn't really what I was up for. That's not really what I wanted.
Hmm.
So,
So while
and I
you
love Louisville.
Louisville's a great place. Louisville's a great place. Indiana's a great place, and the arts to me are like thriving so much in this area
Yes.
that it's just
Mhm.
it's great. I love
And
all
it's
the
and it's thriving because people like us stay here. right?
Yes.
I mean, if we
Yes.
were all going away to New York, then there wouldn't be as much going on here, but people love it here, and so they stay. That's why we have a thriving arts community.
That is a very good point. You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. Because years ago, like I was out in Boston and performing, and one of my friends was going to New York to go to an audition, and I thought about going, but I was like, no, you know what? I actually do want to go back to Louisville
Yeah,
because I love it here, and like you said, if we all left, the arts would not be thriving as much as it is here,
right. Yeah.
and it's so much talented in this area,
Yeah.
so much talent. So speaking of talent, I know you've done many, many roles. What has
Yes.
been one of your favorite roles that you've ever done?
I have so many favorites, but one of my absolute favorites was Fagin and Oliver at Center Stage.
I was in that with you.
I know you were.
Yes.
I
That was great.
loved playing Fagin.
You were amazing as Fagin.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing.
Um, I loved him. I loved playing him. I would play him again in a heartbeat if anybody asked me.
Hmm.
And then a couple of years after that, I played a character named Junior in a play called Qualities of Starlight for Theater 502. And that's another favorite
Yeah.
because it was so far away from who I am.
Uh-huh.
And so was Fagin, really. Um, and the character in Qualities of Starlight was so much like my dad. That's really why I wanted to do the role, because I felt like that if I could access that character, I could understand my dad a little better.
Uh-huh.
And I did. I totally did.
Isn't that
So I
great? Like
really love that.
when you get into those roles where you can get to know, like you said, aspects of your dad better. You know, those roles that just really, really you learn something about yourself or about someone else that you are
Right.
wanting to know more about. That is just so
Right.
awesome. So
But I
with that
learned,
being,
yeah,
huh?
I learned about myself too in the course of that, because I played a father,
Hmm.
and the son was in the show, the play, and the son was somewhat rebellious and had resentments toward his dad. So really, I was playing my father in my own relationship with my father. So I learned a lot about myself and my dad
And you
in that show. Yeah.
That's so cool. Like which leads me to the question of how do you prepare for your roles? Is there something
Mm,
like specific that you do, like research or whatever, whatever it may be? For each person is different.
mhm.
So how do you prepare for each role that you're in?
Right. It depends on the role.
Uh-huh.
For Qualities of Starlight, as I said, I was really kind of playing my dad. The character was a meth smoker. My dad was not that, but the
Not
character
really
was a
glad.
lot like my dad. Aside from that, he was just like my dad. So I just really kind of called on recollections of my dad at various points in my life for that role. Um, for for Fagin, and I guess all roles and characters, I think I just start with um, what world they're in, right?
Uh-huh.
And how that world informs them. You know, for Junior in Qualities of Starlight, he lived in a very messy trailer. They were hoarders, and he was a meth smoker. So I don't have any firsthand knowledge of any of those things, but
Right.
I definitely have an imagination that could put me in that place, just to sort of imagine what that's like. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
walking, finding a path to get to where you want to go,
Yeah.
in a house that's full of junk, and that trailer was. Um, so that, and then, Fagin, imagining what it would be like to live in a time where, you know, if you were born of a lower class, pickpocketing was the way you made your living. And you know I think that all people have a sense of humor, and I think Fagin definitely had a sense of humor about who he was in the world,
Uh-huh.
right? Which I
Right.
think makes him so endearing, right? I mean, it's hard to dislike somebody because they do something that's quasi criminal, or something that you wouldn't do necessarily, but their circumstances have led them to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't feel like he had any other choice. He didn't have any skills, but he was quite brilliant at conning people and picking pockets. You know,
Right, right. And you
Yeah.
did such an amazing job with that, making him enduring and making people actually really feel for him and love him and like him, you know? Because I've seen
Mhm.
productions where I was like, oh, it's Fagin. And I guess I
Right.
didn't feel as much compassion for him as I did when we performed it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you were fabulous in that role.
Thank you. I
Absolutely.
loved him. Yeah. I loved
It's a
him.
great role. Speaking of that, like roles, is there a role that you have not done yet that you would love to do, like a bucket list role? What is that
I've
role
got
and why?
I've got a bucket list.
Uh-huh.
I can't pick just one. I think that
You can give me
and
more
I
than one.
and I hope that somebody casts me in all of these roles eventually, Frank.
I'm gonna write it down
Um,
right now. But it's
I really, really want to do Henry Higgins
uh-huh.
in My Fair Lady. I want to act that. I want to sing it.
Hmm.
Um, I really, really want to do uh, Harold Hill in Music Man before
Oh,
I die, and I really want to play Javert in Les Mis.
yes.
I'm dying to play Javert in Les Mis.
I could see you.
And I said to Lane the other night, I was like, we were listening to one of the songs in the show, I think, and I said, I would be happy being the the third hobo from the left in that show just to sing that music. It's
Hmm.
so beautiful to me.
It is. The
Yeah.
music in Les Mis is just amazing.
So those are the three.
Yeah.
You asked for one, I gave you three.
You're fine. You give me as many as you want. Many as you
So
want.
so when you do those shows,
I
those are the
got you
ones I
down.
want.
I just wrote it all
And
down.
we were Drowsy Chaperone. I would love to play the man in the chair. So now I've
Yes.
given you four.
You give me four. I love it. They're all coming up. All coming right up.
Good.
So clear your calendar. Clear your calendar. So with that being said, like you've done all these different roles. You've been performing for forever,
100 years.
100 years. As soon as you came out of the womb, you were like, boom, I'm performing. You came out with jazz hands. I'm a dancer.
I am a dancer,
You
as you
are.
know.
God is a dancer.
Not.
What advice do you have for like upcoming performers? What would you
Mm,
tell them?
not to take it personally. It's just not personal. I mean, the business is not personal. It's a business. They call it show business for a reason. And now I've got my director and producer hat on.
Hmm.
Um, when I'm casting, actors tend to get upset when they're not cast in a role and yes, it is disappointing, but it is, from sitting on the other side of the table, it is so not personal.
That is
You know,
absolutely the truth.
I mean,
Yeah.
uh, the last thing that goes into it is personal, right?
Hmm. Yeah, it's the very
Um,
last thing.
I will say that there are times that I've worked with an actor who we didn't jibe really well or something. I might consider that, but if that is the best actor for the job, that's who's going to get it,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
And the best actor for the job, from my point of view, is different than probably your point of view.
Yes,
You know,
it is.
so that's why I say it's so not personal. It just depends on who's in the room, how they see the story being told, um, the look that they're after. It just there are so many variables that it's just so not personal.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and I struggled with that when I was a young actor too. It always felt so personal
yeah.
because singing and acting and everything comes from inside of you, so it feels personal.
Hmm.
And then there's somebody on the outside who's judging you, but it's not even like they're judging you. They're just looking for the best fit for their whatever they've got going on and they need to cast. So therefore, it's just not personal.
Yeah. That is great, great advice because,
Mm.
like you said, so many people do take it personal and they're like, well, they don't like me or whatever. And it's like, no,
Right?
it's
It's
not
not
that.
about that.
It's
Yeah.
trying to find the best person for this role.
Right.
Absolutely. Which,
Hmm.
by talking about directing, producing, and
Hmm.
having that hat on, um, what what's your favorite part about being a director?
Um, I think my favorite part is the most challenging part, and that is um, when you get to the first performance. Did everything that you imagined happen?
Hmm.
Like the job of the director is really to um, share a vision with a lot of different people. Theater is the most collaborative art form, um, and there are a lot of people who are in the mix who are trying to realize a vision. And when it works right, you are able to share what your vision is. It can't all just stay up here. You've got to be able to tell people what it is you're looking for. And then they have to translate that into lights, set, costumes. Yeah, actors have to translate that into a characterization. And when it all works well, that challenge, when it all works well, is that you see the vision you had at the beginning on the stage.
Which is beautiful.
That's my favorite part. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is great. And sometimes it can be challenging. Like you said,
Sometimes it is. And it doesn't always work.
Right. Right.
But I really I love acting. But I really love directing. I love exploring characters and helping actors explore characters and sort of get at the guts of them, you know. And honestly, being a director has made me such a better actor.
Yeah, yeah. I
approach acting differently now.
Yeah, I have found that with myself as well. I mean, I'm newer to this directing than what you are, but I've found that being on this side of the table and being director, I think it's made me a better actor. It's made me I feel that I've always appreciated the directors in the process, but it truly appreciating it. And yeah, it has definitely made me a better actor, a better listener, a better everything, you know?
Yes,
So
better listener for sure.
Yeah, definitely better listener. So with that being said, as I mentioned earlier, Michael is the amazing, incomparable, talented, artistic and producing director of Pandora Productions. So you can imagine that there's no one out there that does not know or have heard about Pandora Productions. So Michael, why don't you tell us a little bit about Pandora and what it is and the shows that you do?
Well, we are the only theater company in the Metro Louisville area and region, really. I used to say the state, but that's not quite true anymore. We're the only theater company in the metro area exclusively dedicated to telling the stories of the LGBTQ plus community. And for 25 years now, believe it or not, 25 years, we've been doing plays and musicals that speak to that community and educate and enlighten on issues facing that community.
Which is absolutely beautiful. If you have not seen the show there, once everyone's in the all clear and safe, you have to make sure you go and check out Pandora Productions because they are phenomenal. So with that being said, like there are so many shows that you can do. How do you go through and pick out the correct show for that season? Is there a process that you go through, or you're just like, this is what needs to be told at this time? Like, what's your process for
that? Next to budgeting, that is the hardest part of my job. I suspect you find it hard. That part of your job is hard too.
Definitely.
It causes me more sleepless nights than budgeting, and I hate budgeting. So, the process is different every time I approach it. Really. I just read a lot. I get things referred to me, shows referred to me, and I look at those. I keep my ear to the ground. And I just have at this point, after 20 years, I've been at Pandora for 20 years. I have sort of a running list of plays or musicals in my mind that I want to get to eventually. Some we may never get to because they may not be right for a season. And then as I'm looking at things and I think, okay, I'd really like to do X show this year. What else goes with that? Sometimes I think that way. I think, okay, that would be a great show opener for example, this coming season, we're opening with Head Over Heels. It's our 25th anniversary. Head Over Heels feels celebratory to me, and I really want to celebrate the season. And I also look at educational things. I want to educate the audience. I want to entertain. I want to educate. I want to enlighten. So, it just kind of falls into place usually.
Yeah.
I might start with a list of like 10 to 20 things. Hopefully not 20, because then it's really hard to pare down. But then I start paring it down, and I think what goes well with what, or what called to me, usually is how it starts. Like what really is meaningful to me, and that becomes a cornerstone for the year.
Uh-huh.
You know, next year, next season, Birds of a Feather really, really called to me. Birds of a Feather is about the gay penguins in New York Zoo. Back
Oh,
in the, yeah, I know, right? Roy and Silo, these penguins, they raised a baby penguin.
I love
I know, it's fabulous. It's a great play too. That that play really called to me, and I thought that's got to be in the season. So
it.
then, you know, other things started falling into place after that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's hard finding the right show, what pairs with what moves you, what is going to educate people, what's going to move people, what's going to entertain them, you know? It is. It's really, really hard. And I find myself the same.
Mhm.
Sleepless nights over finding and picking the right season and the right shows more than I do with budgeting. And
Yeah.
budgeting is not my favorite, but yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely find myself doing that.
And a
All
lot of the arts organizations in town have gone through some seminars and training in the last year, and it has really asked us to think 5 years in advance. Like, what
mhm,
are some of the things that you want to do in the next 5 years?
mhm.
What are some of the really big things that you want to do, so that you're able to plan them for a longer period of time, get people excited about them over a longer period of time, make sure that your board is excited about them, so that they're, you know, they're looking for funding for them, sponsors, if that's part of your business model, um, but really getting your audience excited about that. So we're in the process of that, and we're really in the process of that before COVID happened.
Uh-huh.
And now we're most arts organizations are really just trying to struggle with how do we keep performing something for an audience given our new normal.
Right.
Yeah, because
Right.
I don't know how you all feel about it at center stage, but I think that it's unless you know, unless something really dramatic changes, I think theater's probably going to be one of the last things that comes back online, just because we're a place where people gather,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And if it does come back online, I think it's not going to be like we've seen it before, like we
I think
know
you're
it,
absolutely right.
right?
Yeah, I think you're
uh, I,
absolutely right.
I think there may be 25 to 40% of the audience seats filled,
Hmm.
maybe, if we're
Maybe.
lucky, and if we actually get to be in a space together.
Right.
That's
Right.
that I will say that that's been the hardest part for me for this whole thing. This whole
Hmm.
pandemic has been, you know, from of course, obviously we're sympathetic to people who are ill or people who have lost lives and their families and whatnot. Um, but as far as the economy coming back and how theater as a business operates, I think it's changed, and is going to be changed for a long time.
I think you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And it's funny because of the fact that uh, for a lot of people, I think what's getting them through is the arts. You know, they're able to watch it on TV, and
Hmm.
people.
Right.
There's so many videos and clips of people singing and people,
Hmm.
you know, doing all these artistic things. And with that being what's getting everyone through, the arts will be the last thing that I think everyone will be able to go out to. And it's
Yeah.
like you said, it's so difficult.
Yeah.
How do we move forward? How, you know, what happens now?
And I do think that we're going to be one of the first things people want to come back to.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't think that, you know, we are used to having sellout houses. I know
Hmm.
you all are too.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to see that for a while.
I
You
do
know,
not think so. I do not. I mean,
we're
you
not
know,
going to be able to sit that close to each other for a while.
you're right. You're right. You know, I know I was talking to my board the other day, sent out a letter to keep them updated and on everything. And, you know, that was one of their
Yeah.
biggest things is as much as I love the arts, I don't think I'll be able to come to a show until,
Right.
you know, we're able to sit next to each other again. You know,
Right.
what's the plan? How's it moving forward? Again, I don't know. I have scenarios of what I would like and how I think it should go, but it does not mean by any means that that's what's
Right.
going to happen,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Hmm.
Um, eh, yeah, it's a time of uncertainty. You know,
Right.
definitely, 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 definitely. So, Michael, why don't you, if you could, tell everyone like where they can go to purchase tickets or get season tickets for Pandora, website or whatever. You know, let them
Hmm.
know the best place.
Yeah. The best place is there are links all over our website. And our web address is pandoraprods.org. PANDORAPRODS.org. And if you forget that, you can call our ticketing line, which is on the website also, 502-216-5502.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Michael, I know it was pretty quick, and I probably could stay here and we could talk for like another
We
2
could chat
hours.
for a long time.
For a real long time.
Real
I may
long
have to
time.
end up contacting you like, Michael, we're going to do a part 2.
Part 2.
Because there's so much that I could ask you. We could just sit and chat and talk. But I want to come to a part that I'm calling the speed round. Get to know Michael in a minute or less.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
just going to shout out these questions, and I want you to answer what comes fastest or what comes to your mind.
I'm so nervous about this.
What are you going to ask me? What are you going to say? I don't know. All right, I'm going to set the timer. You ready?
Right. Oh, we got a timer.
I got a timer. I'm all set.
I mean, are you like Galinda? You got a hourglass?
Hourglass. I'm going to turn it up and down. Turn it right on over there.
My life is musical theater.
Oh, God, I love it. All right, here we go. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Reading minds.
Favorite drink?
Bourbon.
What's your favorite TV show?
Anything Star Trek.
Favorite genre of movies?
Sci-fi.
What's your favorite food?
Mexican for sure.
If you could have any, one person to play you in a movie of your life, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. Alan Cumming.
Vacation, beach or the mountains?
Beach.
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Dark.
If your house was on fire and you could only go in and pick 2 things, what would they be?
Oh gosh. My phone, because everything is in it. And my computer, because everything Pandora is in it.
If you had a spirit animal, what would that spirit animal be?
Definitely a cat.
Are you a cake person or a pie person?
Oh gosh, I like both. Cake.
Look out there. Go ahead and answer that. Stop that. Stop. Now I
Cake.
can't even get it to turn off. There we go. Got it. What was
See,
that?
if you had an hourglass, you could just turn it right upside
Turn
down.
it right back over. Exactly. I'm going to get an hourglass for the next time because I'm definitely going to have a part.
We got to have a part 2.
We're going to have a part 2 and I'm going to be dressed as Glinda.
I will not paint myself green.
Please. We could do for good. We could just do the whole entire show.
We could. Oh my God, that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Right? Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be
Yeah,
so much
see?
fun.
Idea. Well, again, Michael, I love you to death.
I love you.
Love you, and so good to see you. And I'm so excited that I got this chance to talk to you and give a chance for people to get to know Michael Drury better, because everyone knows him, but do they know Michael Drury?
Do they know he likes Mexican food and chocolate?
Right. They know that for sure. They definitely know that. Well, Michael, I love you. I love you.
Love you too.
I wish you and Lane all the best, and please stay healthy, stay well throughout this pandemic.
Yes.
And of course, anytime you need me, I am here for you.
I'll be there. Yes, sir. Love you too. Thank you. This was fun.
This was fun. Like I said, I'm gonna have to do a part 2. I'm gonna have to do.
Hope people are interested in our banter.
I hope they are. They are. How could they not be?
How could they not?
How could they not? Well, Michael, again, I love you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and watching this
Yes, thank you.
episode of Behind the Scenes and in the Spotlight with Michael Drury. I hope you got to know Michael a little bit more, and can't wait till I come back with you. This Friday, I'll be taping with Melissa Shepard. So
I love Melissa Shepard.
Yes.
I'll be tuning in.
You'll be tuning in for Melissa?
She's one of my favorites.
One of my favorites as well.
Eliza
So,
Doolittle, Henry Higgins. Just saying.
I'm Melissa. Let me write that down. Got it down. We're good. Well, definitely, I will see everyone again very, very soon. I love you. Take care. And as always, make sure you find that light and stay in it. All right. Bye.